So welcome back once again. This is going to be our second episode with the Triumph 800 Tiger build. We've had a few days and we've now got a delivery of parts. So we mentioned last time that we were going to do a service on it. So we've got the parts that we need for that service. The oil has been delivered. We've got a new filter. We've got the battery that we needed. I've also sent for another motor for the starter. This is just in case. I can return this if needed, but we'll have to see if that's one of the problems. Like I said earlier, that motor's been used for the last 14 years, so possibly it's never been changed, so that might be some of the problem we've got. According to the forum, it is a relatively according to the forum, it is a relatively common fault with the Tiger 800s, having problems starting either hot or cold, or like what we're experiencing with this. It does give you that impression that it's just a flat battery, but it could be the battery and the starter motor that is the problem. Now, a couple of other items that I've ordered. One of them is basically a personal one, and I've ordered a USB charging port for the Triumph. They are a little bit small on the end. They are a bit of a specialist thing. And what it does is it gives you the two outlets for your charger, but also it displays the actual voltage of the bike, so you can keep an eye on the voltage when you're riding. It also gives the voltage of the power that's going into the bike, so making sure that it doesn't overcharge. So it's a decent little bit of kit, this. I have been recommended not to leave it plugged in overnight, because like anything else, it will drain the battery. Now, the other thing that we're going to mention is something called the Tiger tool. Basically, this is what it is. It's a link between your laptop or your PC and the OBD port on the bike, and this gives you the ability to read the codes on the bike and find any faults that are displayed. So along with that, you also get a memory stick with the code on it. So this is your app sort of thing, and this will allow you to download the app onto the laptop or your computer and basically install it in there, and that enables everything to talk. So we'll be using that at some point to find any codes that are coming up on the bike. So let's move on to our progress today. So the first thing we're going to be doing is installing that new battery. That one's a little bit of a struggle getting that strap over, but it's all back in now. Now obviously we've got everything over here regarding our fuse box, so we're just going to leave them as they are at the moment. Not going to disturb anything else. We're just checking that everything's tight and there's no loose wires. So we'll give it a go and see what happens this time. All connected up, so we'll give it a go and see if the starter works this time. So again, a little bit reluctant to start. We'll give it another try and see what happens this time. Once again, we're going to be taking this off from the suspension to access the bolt at the top, and then we've got two bolts that are sticking down. Probably can't see them correctly. See if we can get a bit of light on it. So in there, just behind that rubber boot again, we've got two bolts that you can access from the top or maybe from here. I'm going to give it a try without having to take the airbags off and everything else, but we'll see how we go. So even though it does suggest taking out the airbox and the throttle control and everything else, I have managed to get the starter motor out of this area. As you can see, it's not going to be easy to get the new one back in, but that's where it's come out of, just down there. So these are the starter motors that we've got. That's the original. Seems a little bit stiff on the drive, and when we powered it up to the motor, although it's got a lot of torque to turn it, it doesn't want to spin the engine. So we've been out, we've bought a replacement one, heavy duty one it says. It looks identical, as you can see. Length and everything else, fittings, everything else is the same. So this is the new one that we're going to be replacing. So if we put a bit of light on the job, you can probably just see these 2 bolts at the back there. There's a little bracket there as well. Not sure if it's very clear there, but that also needs screwing to the 2 bolts that hold the starter motor in. So we're going to try and get that starter motor back into that area without having to remove the airbox and everything else. Now I'm now being able to manage to get the starter motor all the way back into the recess. We've got 2 bolts at the back and that little bracket to put in, and then we'll be connecting up the power supply. These are going to be a little bit of a nightmare. I was hoping to get in with this, but obviously you can see it would be brilliant to tighten it up with that, because it just means putting it on the bolt, but just can't get it in. We need a microscopic one. So what I'm going to be trying to use is this one. I mean, I did get in there before and I was able to get the bolts off with this, but it was difficult. So we're going to try and get this back in without losing the bolts down the back. The bolts themselves are only quite small, quite short, but it's getting in there with your hands to actually see where you're going and what you're doing. It's more about feel than anything else. So as luck would have it, we cannot get the nuts back onto the starter motor, so we're having to revert to taking out the air filter box. The trumpets have come off quite easily, and there's a central mount there, there's a clip there, and I'm expecting something down here on the side of the airbox as well. At the moment it's fairly loose, so it looks like it could lift off, but it's attached somewhere. And looking, I think from probably a previous owner, they've marked up the trumpets with 1, 2 and 3, so at least I know where they go back into place. So the motor's back in position as it should be. We've got clearance for everything else that seems to be around that area. So hopefully now, once we get the airbox off, we might get better access, I'm hoping, to them 2 bolts that hold the motor on. So I've just spent the last 15 or 20 minutes trying to get that bolt in. You can just about see it at the end of the screwdriver there. We've got that one there, and we've got another one that's further over. The bolt's not in itself. It can't seem to find the hole where it needs to go into, which is typical. It may mean that the motor isn't in enough, or it may be the motor is a little bit too far away. Not sure at the moment, but it's getting a little bit tedious changing this motor. So I'm not sure if you can see it from here or not, but we do have a small bolt down there for the other mount. Now if you haven't got a tool for the job, then obviously you need to possibly make one. I made this for another job, and basically what it is a bit of welding wire with a magnet attached, and what I did, I used the magnet to take the bolt down to where I needed to be, placed it in the hole where it needs to be, and then we twisted that a little bit until it came off the bolt. I withdrew it out, and then I were able to get my fingers back in there. You can just about see down here. There we go. We've got a bolt down there. I don't know if you can see my hand down there, but we've got the other bolt in there. So basically we've got one of 2 tight, and I'm just about to start on the second one, getting this tightened up. So hopefully then that's part of the job done. we can start putting things back together again with any luck. So through pure persistence and time, which is probably about another half an hour, we've got the motor back on, we've got the boot on, it's all bolted up and secure. So let's hope that this is the cure to our starting problems. I mean, a new motor should do this, but we will have to wait and see. I do know that behind this cover there's some gearing, so that would be my next protocol. If we can't get it to start and get it turning over correctly, then we're going to be taking this cover off and having a look at the drive gear that's behind here. I do believe there's some bearings and stuff in there, so that's our next protocol. I'm hoping it's not, because we've got the bike half in parts at the moment. So let's see how we go on with this. So I understand not everything is coupled up, but we've got a full battery, we've got all the terminals on the starter motor correctly, we've got the new motor in, so we'll go for a first start. Obviously it won't start, but I'm looking at for a faster or increasing turnover. No. No. So that is not cured the problem. So obviously now we need to delve a little bit deeper into why it's still got the same problem. So we've replaced the battery, which we were told that it probably was that because it's an older battery. We were then given the information about the starter motor being an issue, maybe the brushes. We've taken that to pieces and we've got that working, but in the meantime I've ordered the motor and obviously I've now fitted it. So that's not the cure for this particular problem. So we're going to have to delve a little bit deeper into what it could be. And I think what it's going to be is taking the side cover off here, draining out the oil and fluids, and taking a look at that that little bit of gear stuff that's round the end of the starter motor. So we've got our at 8 on the actual socket here, and we're going to be draining the oil out of the Tiger. So we can get out of there. Here we go. Ooh. But we'll drain that off first, and obviously we will use a new washer, that crush washer on the back, to replace it. Going to be using some 1040 new oil. Now we're draining the oil out so that we can, when we take this cover off, any oil that's left in this area will just spill out onto there. I think they're going to be possibly 10 mils. Yep, they are. I think there's one that's a little bit longer than the others. There's one with a bracket down there as well. So we're just going to make sure that when we put these back on, make sure they've got the little clip there that runs around the water line before it goes up to the radiator. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. It looks like we've got 12 to take out anyway. So we'll take that cover off and see what we've got behind it. We are hoping that there's going to be a problem here on the sprag clutch, but only time will tell. That's a bit tighter, that one. That might be the longer version. So it looks like these 12 there. I don't know if that's going to come off easily or not. Might have to give it a bit of tap with a hammer. So here's what we found when we took the cover off. So we've got what I would class as the drive coming out of the starter motor, which is a small gear. It then goes on to the idler gear, which then drives the engine. So the motor's going one way, the idler gear's the other, and the drive gear to turn the engine over is in the correct orientation. So we'll have to see what happens. But in the meantime, obviously I'm going to have to order a gasket from Triumph. That won't come for a couple of days, so I'm stationary at the moment. So as always, if you like what you see, we would appreciate the thumbs up. It does help with the channel, as does a subscription. And obviously if you want to subscribe, it's just a click away. Doesn't cost you anything, but it does help the channel run. Right, so that's about it for today, guys. We'll see you next time on the Triumph Build.